Hi there, today I'm going to go through the front end of Xfire using some example council data. Xfire uses search-based technology to allow us to use natural language free text searches against vast amounts of data with sub-second response times. For example, if I search within my search engine for the word Staffordshire, it will find any matches for this word in any index available within the search engine. As you can see here, there are 4 indexes that have got matches for that search. A search engine can house a number of indexes from both structured and unstructured data, and also acts as our first level of security as we can restrict which users see which search engines. So now I've searched for Staffordshire, I can go into and view this council amalgamation index. As you can see within the borough field, we have 3 matches for this search: East Staffordshire, South Staffordshire and Staffordshire Moorlands. If I click show counts, I can see how many records relate to each, and I can also click show others to see which records are excluded. Okay, so now I can change my index to business rates renewals, and I can see what an unstructured index looks like. As you can see, the search is still applied, and it looks not only in the file name but also in the paragraph itself. Okay, so I can click on these documents, download it, and then view it. So when we're using these documents, so obviously we can index the unstructured item itself, and we can also then search within it and find which documents are relevant to that, but we can also use regular expressions to pull information out. So when I change this to a table view, you can see I've pulled some information out here, so the property reference number, renewal date, rateable value, etc. Okay, so I'm going to switch back to my structured index now, council amalgamation. Okay, so say I wanted to do a search for the Borough of Stafford. Business rates renewal was on the 1st of April 2017, and they have a trading license, so it's not null. So if I click on the Borough heading and I can pick Stafford, I can click on the value within the data for the 1st of the 4th 2017 within business rates last renewal, and then I can click on the column header for council trading license, pick not, and then pick none. Okay. So if I then wanted to filter this down to properties with only a rateable value of greater than 50,000, I can then open the filter panel up, search for 50,000, and as you can see, it brings in only values that have got a rateable value of over 50,000. And then if I change it to a customizable HTML layout, you can actually see that it shows all the information, but in perhaps a clearer view of this, and you can see it record by record. Okay, so I'm going to clear that search and just change my index to council spend now. So within council spend, you can see we've got a few description fields, so description and cost centre. What we can actually change the display field layout to here is a word cloud. So as you can see, this one, the cost centre is the field we're looking at, and we can see the most used words within that field. So if I click on support, I can then see all the words that relate to support. So then I can click on physical, and then that is now searching for all the words that relate to support and physical, so the most popular words that relate to them. So the next thing I'm going to show you is an example of how to create a pages report before showing some reports I made earlier. So I'm going to load one that's already been started, and it's got a couple of elements in, and then I'm just going to finish it off with a few more elements. So you can either create new charts and tables on the fly within pages, or you can load elements from other sectors of the product, so crosstabs, query, event, etc. So the first thing I'm going to do is to create a donut pie chart, and this is going to be for the day of the week. So if I pick in my row to be day of week, then if I go into my total and rename this transactions, I'm finally going to charting and pick my chart to be a donut 2D, and then I'm just going to change a couple of options here as well. Okay, and then I can save that. And then resize. Now I'm going to load a column chart in. This is going to be transactions by month. And then once that's come in, I can then just resize it. And then as you can see, when I run this, it's going to complete our dashboard. So we've got 4 elements in this dashboard now. Now I can take this report one step further, and I can add tiles to some of these elements, and I can even carousel these around. So if I load this one I made earlier, as you can see, there's 2 static elements, both the top 10s, and then there's 2 rotating elements containing multiple different charts. These show different views and measures on the month and the day of the week. And as you can see from the static charts, we can do top 10 style reports or top 5, etc. So the next thing I'm going to show you is a KPI style report. As you can see, this report has 5 tabs. The first contains an overview of the KPIs and uses conditional formatting images to show whether or not the values have met the target. So obviously you can see that green tick, it means they've met the target, and a red cross obviously means they haven't. The second tab shows a year's view of the council expenditure, and you can see that most of the money is either being spent at the beginning of the year when the council may get its budget, or at the end of the year when it may have a bit of budget left. And you can also see it shows a top 5 chart of the descriptions of these expenses, and we've also got a day of week pie. The third tab shows parking income, which car parks are the most popular, the method of payment that's been used as a radial picture chart, and also the daily transactional trend, and as you'd expect, it's peaking on each Saturday. Okay, so the fourth tab shows an overview of savings found from the fraudulent single person discount claims. And if you want to drill down, you can see the cases that got fixed penalties, and you can drill down doing this via the chart. Drill through is available throughout the product unless you choose to restrict it for particular users. The final tab shows a map of the services the council offers and where these appear on the map. Bear in mind that this is example data. Okay, so against reports we can actually set schedules, and as you can see here, I've set one up for this KPI report. This report is scheduled out every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and this goes out as an email attachment via a PDF. The next report I'm going to show is a single view of a business. As you can see from this report, we can see what activity the business is across multiple systems, things like how many registered properties and the rateable value, and we can also use filters to change which business we're looking at. So in this example, if I change Mayor Inc. To Blueberry, and now you can see that it's updated the charts when I click filter. One solution we are offering to councils is called Xfire. This stands for Fraud Investigation and Reporting Engine. This uses tools within CXAir and CX Forms alongside various calculations used that find potential fraudulent matches within a council. This particular example is based on people claiming for single person discount as well as being on a joint application for social housing waiting list. In this example there are 34 potential cases. On each case we can see the match that it's found, and then we can then go and investigate the issue, and then depending on the conclusion we come up with, we can fill out the form at the bottom to give a conclusion, so we can say whether we think it's fraudulent or whether it's simply an error on the system. And then we can choose what action was taken, and then as we scroll down you can see there's a new page for each potential match, and again we can submit these conclusions. These submissions can then themselves be reported on in a report similar to this fraud benefits realisation report. As you can see, we have an overview of the matches and can drill through on the records where there was a prosecution Again, just clicking on the chart and it drilling through to the raw data. We can also use our Vens module to identify potential fraud alongside the normal applications of Ven, which is just to be showing logical relationships between multiple sets. In the example I'm going to show, I'm using a unioned index. So this is using multiple sources, and we're going to use these to discover which sources properties are on, and which ones they might not be on. So if I pick the three data sources, business rates, food hygiene and safety, and trading license, what I can then do is intersect them all. So when you first intersect them, you'll see that the intersections are 0 because the records are either on one source or another in this case. However, if I was to change the measure to a distinct count, so what I can then see is which properties are across each of the data sources. So there's 13 here that are in trading license that aren't in business rates or food hygiene and safety. If a property obviously appears in trading license or food hygiene and safety but not business rates, then there's potential that they're committing a fraudulent act in the sense that they're not paying their rates. There could be other explanations such as certain discounts or depending on what type of organisation it is. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to show you is models. So CXAir uses predictive analytics such as Bayesian networks to use historical data to predict future events and outcomes. For example, this BayesNet predicts the outcome of a police stop and search using certain key indicators. As you can see, if I pick person and vehicle search, the outcome suspect arrested increases by over 5%, indicating you're more likely to be arrested if the search is of this type. It also implies that you are now even more likely to be male. And then if I choose this, you can see that the outcome is very similar. If I choose, however, that the outcome is not linked to the object of the search, it changes the likelihood that you will be arrested dramatically, as this means they may have found something that could be worse or that they have found something else. So now I've made a few selections, we can have a look at how this has changed our other indicators. So we can go through on these different column charts and see the old probabilities against the new probabilities. So finally we can view a summary of the biggest changes in the particular fields. Okay, so I hope that's given you an insight into the product and the front end of CXAir. Thanks for watching.